Hello and welcome to the first Around the World in 80 Dishes, where I will be taking a random country and a random dish from that and attempting to cook it. I have very little actual cooking experience and I am by no means sound on a lot of the cultural aspects of things that I'm taking. Most of the stuff I'm going to be cooking I'll either have never eaten before or have definitely never cooked before. But we'll give it a go. Week number one, we are on Mexico with Enchiladas Suiza. Alright then, we are starting off with the foundation for it, everything to hold it all together, give it a little hug, the tortilla. All you need to do, stick it in the pan with hot oil for a couple of seconds, gives it a nice little bit of a rise, but ultimately just makes it much easier to fold it all together later on. Right, moving on to the chicken, all you need to do, just stick that in the pan, cover it with salt and cold water and bring it up to the boil as fast as you can before turning it down. You want to get it on a low heat faster, just because it makes it much more tender at the end. Right, next up I'm going to show you the salsa verde. Traditionally this uses tomatillos, but I can't find them anywhere where I live. So I've just substituted them with some green peppers. Green tomatoes would work better, but again, can't find anything like that. But you just offset the flavour with a bit of lime and it gives you a close resemblance of what a tomatillo would actually look like, taste like. Food. Right, just starting off with the onion, all you need to do is just take the outer layer off. You can either quarter it, half it, or just leave it whole. Doesn't really matter, it's all just going to get blended together anyway. Probably just much easier to stick it in your pan if it's whole. Same with the garlic, just take out as much as you like. You can never have too much garlic, I don't think, so stick the whole bulb in for all I care. Just, like you see, crush it, take the skin off, and then that's just going into the pan as well. Next up is the chilies. I personally think it's quite spicy. Fortunately, I only ended up putting 3 in this, so it just didn't have the same kick that I would have wanted. But just change it to how much you like. Personally, I think more the better. Like I said before, a tomatillo would have been much better than using the pepper. A tomatillo has more of a lemony, herby sort of flavour than general tomatoes. But when it gets blended together later on, just stick a bit of lime in and it does a similar sort of job. One of the great things about this dish is that since most of the ingredients in it are just blended, you don't have to be perfect with your cutting, as you can see that I definitely am not. You just need some form of hearty chunks that are going to be easy to just stick in your pan to boil up. And then, yeah, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, so to speak. Right, once all that's done, all you need to do, stick it in the pan, cover it with water, and like the chicken, just bring it up to the boil and let it simmer down. Both of them take a similar-ish amount of time, so maybe for your vegetables, maybe about 15 minutes, a bit longer for your chicken. If you're not sure, just take the chicken out, see if it's cooked, if not, put it back in. Once the veggies are done, just take it off the heat, get your blender out and start to waz it down. You are wanting kind of a thickish sort of liquid. I think personally I end up making mine a bit too thin, but there are ways to remedy this. You can either just put it back on the heat and let it reduce down for quite a while, or just keep adding cream. If you really wanted to, you could boil up some more vegetables in the meantime, stick that in, but it doesn't particularly matter all that much, I don't think, how thick the sauce ends up being. This is the point where you season it all, so get your coriander, get your lime if you don't have tomatillos, and just keep on going until the flavour's right. Season it at this point, get your salt in, pepper if you want pepper, but it doesn't really need it. Right, again, couldn't find all the ingredients you'd actually maybe want with something like this, sour cream would be better. Heavy cream worked the same way. You just get a bit more of a, I guess, creamy flavour with it as opposed to what you would with sour cream. Right, once it's all blended down, get it back on the heat with a bit of olive oil in it. This way you can reduce it down a little bit more, get the taste of it right. Make sure you do taste it at this point before you end up covering the rest of the dish with it. Like I said, I should have done it a bit spicier, but at this point it just tasted pretty good, really. So by this point your chicken should be completely ready. If not, your oven cooker's probably broken. All you need to do, take it out, let it cool down a little bit, and then shred it. You can shred it with your hands if it's cold enough, but it's easier when it's still steaming to do with forks. So we're nearly ready for the final part of it. All you need to do is get whatever you're going to put it actually in the oven with, and make a layer of the salsa verde along the bottom before moving on to actually assembling them. So get your tortilla from before. All you need to do, a little bit of chicken, splash of the salsa verde across the top, tuck it in and then roll it. That's about it. Once they're all assembled, stick them in your dish that you filled with the verde before, and then pop it into your oven. I don't actually own an oven, so I just made one. All I did for this, if you don't have an oven yourself, cake tin foil underneath it in the pan that you were cooking in before, just because it's probably still quite hot, and then just cover it with more tin foil. I thought an oven is basically a box with hot air in it, and this kind of does the same trick. Right, so just cover your enchiladas with a little bit more of the verde, a lot more if you want it. If it tastes good, drown it, why not? But just a bit more of a splash will do since there's already sitting in it. Again, traditionally, Oaxaca cheese would have been better, but I couldn't find any of that either. But mozzarella does the same trick. You get the same sort of melty, creamy texture as you would from the Oaxaca. I also stuck a little bit of parmesan on this just to give it a little bit more of a sharpness. And you can never go wrong with too much cheese, I don't think. If it was healthy, I wouldn't have even made the enchiladas, and I'd have just eaten the bowl of mozzarella instead. But apparently you can't do that. Once the cheese is on, cover it with a bit more of the verde just to really get those flavours over as much as the dish as you can. And yeah, should be ready to go from there. If you're using a normal oven, I think you leave this in for about 25 minutes or so. Since I wasn't sure whether this was going to ruin both my pans, I only left mine for about 15. But it seemed to do the trick really. All I wanted to do is just get that cheese nice and melty over everything, reheat all the ingredients which have cooled down a bit maybe, and hopefully get a nice creaminess through the sauce with the cheese that you've put through on it. All that's left to do now is plate up, shut up and eat up. Get it while it's hot, get it while it's cheesy, get some more if you're still hungry. Oh, I hate myself for saying that. Right, there it is. My thoughts on it were good. I could use a bit more spice in it, I think maybe. I only put a couple of chilies in, and there was a lot of liquid with that salsa verde, so it just kind of ended up mellowing out the flavours a bit. And I had loads of leftovers, because it was only me and my girlfriend eating it. Great tip for that. Keep it in the fridge, put the chicken in with the salsa verde, so it kind of marinates a little bit, and then just blend it the day afterwards. It makes an awesome soup. Yeah. Right, thanks for watching. There's going to be another one next week, hopefully. I still need to try and figure out all the camera and editing and stuff like that, so hopefully as the weeks go on, not only the cooking gets better, but the actual videos of it as well. See you next week. Thanks for a wander. Let's go for it.